mean,
you guys watch the Swindler?
The visuals be crazy.
You watch Tinder Swindler?
Yes,
That's my hero, fam.
Genius.
That's my hero. I can't lie to you. He's my hero.
Absolute genius, bro.
He's my hero, bro.
This guy was whining and dining babes, not with his own pee.
With the other pee, basically.
His other drone's pee.
Did you see at the end how much they said he made? Estimated to be 10 mil.
Yeah, genius.
And he's still living it up as well.
But this guy said a Bentley or a Ferrari. Which one should I take?
That's the maddest part. This guy spent 5 months inside.
Only 5.
He was smiling inside the whole sentence.
He was homeless for a little bit as well.
Meanwhile, we had hood heroes like Hush Puppy doing how many years in prison?
Yeah, but I
feel like he was sloppy though.
No. But
like he was sloppy.
Yeah, because he started showing it off on Instagram.
No, but and he also robbed the US government.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Like
He's a
the
hero.
government. No, I love him, but like he done the Premier League. He robbed
Hero.
the FA. He robbed
Hero.
the US government.
Hero. Overcharging against
know what I
what
mean,
they
though?
done to the cold crush.
Hush
Talk that
Puppy.
shit.
Hush Puppy is clearly Peter's spirit animal. He's the
I would-
patron saint.
Fam.
He's the patron saint of 419.
The only difference between me and Hush Puppy is I wouldn't have been on Instagram, bro.
Yeah, I think that was his Achilles heel. He should have never been on Instagram. Should have been flexing.
That was his Achilles heel.
What's going on, world? Welcome to episode 65 of the Rhymes Like Dimes podcast with your boys Peter,
Yo.
Mohammed,
Yep.
myself Yemi. A new week, a new pod, guys. How are you today?
Very well, man. Blessed and highly favoured.
Always.
What you saying?
I'm all right. Blessed and highly favored as well. Mohammed, how are you?
I'm chilling. God is good all the time.
All the time, God is good.
Of course.
Do what we can.
Yeah, we do what we can. We had a lovely conversation about a lot of things in pre-pod, but we can't, we won't mention. But you know, good to talk to you guys about that kind of stuff. So shout out to you, man. How's your week's been?
Yeah, it's been okay, man. Busy at work. Gymming. Finally found my rhythm with the gym. You know what I mean? Bench pressing and all that good stuff.
Talk about it.
You know what I mean? My diet's getting better as well.
Why are you looking at me?
You're the closest person to me. Can I not look at you? You asked me the question.
Yeah, but just the way you're looking at me.
But you're my brother.
Carry on.
Nah, I've had a good week, man. Just keeping busy in it. And you?
My week's been all right. Busy. Been doing a lot of yoga. Shout out Adrian.
That facing dog. Oh,
Yep.
You done the downward facing dog?
We've done this a million times.
For the clarify, you done the downward facing dog?
I've said on previous pods that I do it. Yeah.
why is Mo so immature?
You're 6'3", you know.
Okay.
Salute to you.
What's the issue? I'm more flexible than you, and
Or you definitely are. I won't lie to you. My back.
there you go. But yeah, week's been good. I've started driver lessons as well. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Very, very hard. I'm on the automatic, but even then, it's like I'm only 2 lessons in, but
Yeah.
the driving thing is no joke.
Yeah. You
Salute-
get used to it, man.
Salute to all the drivers, man.
I tried to book my test. I booked it for July. Earliest one available.
Yeah.
It's a joke thing.
That's crazy.
Trust.
Mohammed, how's your week been?
Been cool, man. It's been a long week. You lot obviously know what's up. It's been a long week, but I've done what Pete done essentially. Just got back to gym. Went last night, went the night before, so going back tonight. Slowly but surely. Lost hella weight.
Ooh.
Make use of it. I stood on the scale yesterday.
Somebody coming, yeah?
Brother, I found out what I weigh yesterday. You couldn't tell me nothing.
You're going to mention every episode that you've lost weight.
Can I tell you how much I weigh?
Please do.
12.5 stones.
Is there a lucky lady in your life that's inspiring this change of lifestyle?
Why are you doing this?
You know,
I'm
why
asking a
he's
question.
you know why he's a setup?
Why are you doing this?
Did we not speak about this?
Listeners
He's a
want-
setup chick, innit?
The listeners,
He's a setup chick, innit?
the listeners want to know. They want to know about
He
Mohammed's love life.
knows there's none.
He's a setup chick. He's a setup chick.
He knows the answer is zero, zilch, nada.
Yeah, but whoever's listening may not know.
But he still wants to just, go through that avenue.
I mean, do you want to clarify for the listeners?
There's nothing wrong with being inspired.
Nah, I've just been gymming for the sake of gymming.
Okay.
Now, this summer's going to be ridiculous. I'll tell you that for free.
Wow, what's going to happen?
Oof, let me get in shape. Telling you, fam, what? But even though I weigh under 8 kg, 80 kg, it's different.
What's going to happen though?
We'll get there. Can't lie, fam. If you not see me with a shirt on this summer, I felt in life.
No, don't do that.
What? I went through the podcast with me with no top on. Firming.
We are definitely not doing
Oh, we
that.
ain't doing that, man.
We are definitely not doing that.
I'm
I
telling
will
you,
accept your resignation
what?
before
Depends on how wham I get, fam.
Fam, keep
What?
your shirt on.
You know who I'm going to be? You know that dumb guy that dances everywhere? You know that dumb wham guy that dances everywhere?
Terry Crews?
No.
No. He's dumb.
Arms Corleone.
No, he looks like Arms Corleone.
Oh.
No, there's that one guy, the black brother, on TikTok. And he's just, not on TikTok, but I've seen him on Twitter as well.
Oh. Is he
And
a
he's
singer?
just breakdancing everywhere.
Is he a singer?
I don't know if he's a singer, but he wears tight t-shirts and breaks dances everywhere looking stupid.
I don't know who you're talking about.
That's going to be me.
I can't be seen with you if you're one of those brothers that in the middle of summer are just backing off their shirt and just walking.
I'm letting you know now. If we end up going to, what's that rooftop we used to go to?
Nettle free.
Let me have the body I'm looking to go. What?
You're not going to have your top off
In Nettle?
in that crowd,
Oh, you
with
might
that
not.
music.
Fam, and I'm wham. I'm 6'3". I'll dash a man over the thing.
What?
I'll 6'3" me and I go gym. I'm taking off my top. Let someone say something to me.
You're not doing that.
Who's not doing that?
I won't be
Either that or I'll wear a small t-shirt. It's up to you which one you pick.
Oh, you're sick. So what? The pectorals will be
The pectorals are
the
percolating.
percolating
I can't lie. Indeed.
You nasty guy.
I'm telling you, yo, P. Gonna indeed. All of that.
You're a nasty brother.
Hey, man, we do what we can.
That's also cool. Well, good to hear that you're on the way to full fitness and
Hey,
full
man,
strength
I'm
and
trying.
tone and all that good stuff.
I'm trying.
I hear you. But yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Whether you're listening on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, whether you're listening or watching on YouTube. Obviously, we dropped our first video on YouTube last episode talking about the Mount Rushmore. Thank you to everybody who watched that, everyone who liked the video. We're now on TikTok as well, so everyone that's followed us, salute to you. Yeah, we're very grateful for it. It's a new venture for us. We are 3 very old guys who don't really know how TikTok works, but we're getting through it.
We showed our age.
And yeah, for sure. And yeah, more visuals are on the way as well. We'll be utilizing the YouTube channel a lot more for you guys to see our faces whenever one of us is chatting shit about a certain topic or whatever. So yeah, more of that on the way. So, guys, what have we been listening to this week?
I've been listening to Nasir. I've been listening to
The album Nasir.
Yes.
How do you feel about it now?
Still very underwhelming. But I just thought I'd go back to it and see how I felt. But yeah, I've been listening to that, and yeah, there's some good moments on it, but yeah, it just wasn't really it.
Yeah.
It's quite disappointing, to be honest, but that's a whole another conversation.
Yemi looks disappointed, just like
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I've been listening to Young Bleu.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he's dope. I really enjoyed his project he released.
You surprised as
last year.
Very.
That's why I said, oh, for real.
On the latest episode of Peter Tries New Age Rappers.
Nah, he sings a lot though, so that's my bag. You know them melodies, them R&B type.
I
melodies
don't
and
know.
even those
Nah, he does sing. He's
a lot of auto tune and that. But you know, that's my bag.
He's got a banger with
Any bag where like the artist is singing, begging for love, you know what I mean, all that good stuff. I love that shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've been listening to quite a bit of him. Betty Davis, who, if you don't know, is a funk artist. She passed away this week, so yeah, rest in peace. But I've been revisiting her catalogue as well, and that's pretty much been it, really. There's not been too much else. VanJess dropped an album as well, Homegrown. I think that was last year as well. So yeah, that I've played that as well, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that R.I.P. Betty Davis.
R.I.P.
Titan in her own right. Mohammed?
I ain't listened to that much music this week. It's been a whirlwind week, as you guys know. I've been rinsing out the Snoop song a lot. The Snoop with the Nas and the Hit Boy production. Whatever Hit Boy's got cooking, essentially it's crack. Because I haven't heard Snoop sound good like that in a while. And I don't feel like I'm exaggerating. Snoop was in his bag in that song. Like I don't know if he wrote it or he did it, but he was in his bag. Like I haven't heard Snoop feeling. It gave me a 90s feel from both parties.
Why are you questioning whether he wrote it?
Who, Snoop?
Yeah.
Snoop had a few ghostwriters. I think it was either the next episode or something where Jay-Z wrote the whole song.
Yeah, no, Snoop's known for not penning all of
Snoop
his...
don't pen all of his stuff.
Yeah.
But that song gave me 90s feel. Him and Nas, the back and forth, the Hit Boy production, everything hit for me. I've been rinsing that out this week a lot. But no, it's not been a crazy week for music for me.
Yeah.
And obvious reasons you guys know, obviously. Hasn't been too drastic.
I hear that. Cool. Well, I've been doing the music writer exercise this month. So basically, it's when you pick,
Oh, you have been, innit?
Yeah. So I did it last year where I have 30 albums, or no, 28 albums, 28, 29, depending on February. 28 or 29 albums that I've never listened to. Listen to them one a day and tweet about it. So I'm on day 12 now. So I've been listening to a bag of albums. The first day I listened to Mama's Gun. Flawless album.
Yeah. Big up my Soulquarians.
Boy. Only him. Yeah. Great album. Then I listened to Janet Jackson, the Velvet Rope.
I
Okay.
think that's her best album.
Yeah, it was alright. It was kind of
Just
dated.
all right.
It's kind of dated to me.
Damn.
It was kind of dated to me. Some of those guitar riffs, and some of those like non-Uma productions were kind of like, okay, yeah, this is definitely 96. But it's cool though. It's cool. It's a cool album. And then yeah, it's been ranging from like Led Zeppelin to Popcorn to Mariba to Soundgarden, a bag of different genres, grunge, techno, ambient, dancehall, obviously. Today I listened to George Ben Africa Brazil, which is like a 70s album. It's like tropical rock coming out of Brazil, which is really good. And the one rap album that I listened to outside of the MWE was Saba's new album, Few Good Things, which is really, really good. It's got a dope verse at the last track from Black Thought, and just generally, just a very, very good album. Saba, if you don't know, he's a rapper from Chicago. He's been dropping music for about 5-6 years. Yeah, very much underrated in this thing. Part of Pivot Gang. And yeah, just doing his thing quietly and slowly but surely. So big up Saba and big up everybody that I've listened to thus far with MWE as well.
Next time you were doing this this exercise, can I contribute to the albums?
As in, you give him a list as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd love to.
I've got Brown Sugar on my list.
Have you listened to Voodoo?
Nope. But I've never listened to Brown Sugar either,
Okay,
so I wanted to start
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's good.
I'm
Have you listened to any of these albums?
Nope. Oh yeah.
Black
The
Messiah?
last one. Yeah,
Okay.
the last one. I think that's day like 20.
What's the worst album you listened to so far?
The worst.
And the best.
To be fair, there hasn't been a worst album. No album has been bad.
All right, fair enough.
Maybe the one I enjoyed the least. Maybe Mariba. The Jungle is the Only Way.
Okay.
I wasn't entirely moved by that one.
Yeah.
But generally, I've had a good time listening to all of them. I've got Tracy Chapman in here.
Okay.
D'Angelo. Got Bob Dylan. I've got Soul to Soul. Got TLC.
Oh,
their
you
first
back,
album. And I'm finishing with Amy Winehouse, Frank.
Okay.
All right, fair enough.
So yeah,
Is
just
that the only Amy album that you've listened to or will be listening to?
that's the only one I will be listening to. I've listened to back.
Does it have to be a
back.
new artist every day? Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. So it's just a way for me to listen to classic albums that I
Yeah.
haven't had a chance to listen to.
No, next time let me contribute.
What would you contribute, sir?
Just mainly R&B albums. I think hip hop you've kind of got that covered.
Why don't you do it both ways?
I don't know if there are any hip hop albums I could give him that he
wouldn't do
hasn't listened to.
Would you do what Yemi's doing? If
Yeah,
Yemi
sure.
gives you a list.
Oh, you would do it?
Yeah, for sure.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we each give each other a list? For banter?
That'd be dope.
That'd be dope. And then we do it on the podcast. On the podcast on Twitter. Like, you know how you do one album a day? To see what we think.
Can do.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right.
All right, bet. I mean, we could do this anytime.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be February.
Yeah.
So, Yemi, you make me a list.
Okay.
I make Mo a list, and then
Mo makes me a list.
Well-
Right? I make you. You make him.
no, I make you.
You make him. He makes me.
Okay, yeah, cool.
No, but he's making your list.
I make you. You make him. True.
So I make Pete's.
We'll figure this out, Paul.
We'll do this off the pod. We'll do this off the
We'll
pod.
figure this out, Paul. But we're onto something here. We're onto something.
We are.
That'd be fun. That'd be really fun.
What if I don't give Pete a little baby, little Dirk, little what, little Tekka?
Here's the thing. When he was talking about mainly R&B albums, it's a trap.
Why is it a trap?
Oh, don't worry. This is a good.
You're gonna have me listening to like Summer Walker, Autumn Stroller. You're gonna have me listening
No, but
to
it
all
works.
these man.
Yem, it
All
works.
these
not
people.
necessarily.
No, Yemi, it's gonna work. It's gonna work.
Hey.
And you need to go through the
Not
album.
necessarily.
No, of course.
You have to go for-
I'll 100%.
It's gonna work.
It'll be
It's
really fun.
It's necessary.
It's gonna
It'll be
work.
really fun.
He's definitely going.
What? This
Because
is
it allows me to just broaden my horizons as well. Don't like, but be actually like put some stuff in it. Do you know what I mean?
I'll mix it up.
Actually good
I'll
though.
mix it up. Give him a little tech up.
You can't include Wretch. You can't include anybody from Tottenham.
I know what I'm gonna do with him. It'll mainly be I'll try as much as the new people as I can. For Pete,
No, you
'cause
should.
Pete's locked off
Both
everything
sides
else.
though.
Yeah,
You get US and UK.
yeah. Pete's locked off. Pete knows music. The best thing I could do for Pete will be UK and US new artists, really.
Yeah.
Like post 2010.
Yeah, I accept that. That's fine.
Yeah. Give him some house as well. Give him some electronic music.
You'll need to give me that.
I'm trying to think of what rap I could give Yemi that he wouldn't have heard though.
Impossible.
That'd be quite difficult. No, I think I could. I could do it. I think it would be more on the street side of stuff.
And then what? Yemi's gonna line me up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be easy.
Because I don't think Yem would have listened to like them early G Unit mixtapes Do you know what I mean? Or
Dipset.
50 mixtapes and stuff like that.
The
So,
lots. Dipset.
yeah, so I think on the streets,
If you just want me to slang on the corner, tell me, innit?
because he's listened to Rock Marcy, he's listened to Mac Homie.
I've not listened to Rock Marcy.
Have you not?
No. I still haven't. I'm sorry, bro.
Look at the disappointment. Look at the disappointment.
sorry,
We need to start recording the
I'm-
podcast
I'm-
live, guys, full time.
No,
the
but
disappointment in Peter's face would have gone viral. I've never.
Wait, you
seen-
have? No, I swear you have.
Yo, he's
No.
screwing his face.
No, never have. I've been quite clear with that. Like, I haven't yet, but I'm getting to it.
Audience, for you,
I've been quite
for
clear
those
with
that can't see, Peter is screwing his face every which way right
No,
now.
it's not. It's not from disappointment. It's more from surprise. 'Cause
Yeah, you're
I feel like,
shocked,
I feel
you're
like he's quoted a bar. He's quoted a
Yeah, I've
Rock
called a
Marcy
bar on a Willie the Kid tune.
with Alchemist.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So no.
I remember asking you, how would you rank Marcy's albums? And then you asked me, have you listened? I was like, no, I haven't yet. But it's on the list. Definitely on the list.
Okay. Yeah. I'll add some of those then.
Yeah.
All right.
It
Cool.
was his birthday yesterday as well. So
Yeah.
happy
Peace.
birthday.
Peace to the God.
Peace to the God. Also want to send a shout out to, obviously Mo mentioned Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg has been in the news this week. He successfully acquired Death Row Records, and he'll be dropping his new album back on Death Row Records. I mean, obviously Death Row, home of Tupac, home of Snoop, home of Dr. Dre for a little bit, founded by Suge Knight, and now it's in Snoop Dogg's possession. How do you
There you
feel,
go,
lads?
man. That's big.
That's
That's
big.
big,
That's-
man.
that's-
For an artist that
that's
helped started the label to
Full
now,
circle.
Yeah, to now
It's a
own
full
it. It's
circle.
nice. Do you know what I mean?
And he started off the right way with the Hit Boy song.
He did.
He started off the right way as well. So salute to him, man. More power to him.
Where do we think Death Row's going now?
But to be honest with you,
Please do.
nowhere. But I don't think that's Snoop Dogg's fault. I just think there's only so much you could do with a new label in 2022. Even though it's an old label, do you know what I mean? I don't see what Death Row can do in 2022. I'm just more happy of the full circle.
It'll be difficult to like shake off the history of the label, innit? And the nostalgia that comes
Yeah.
with that. But I won't say that they can't do anything because it depends on who they sign and stuff. I think Snoop was very instrumental in Benny the Butcher signing to Def Jam. So if he's able to do stuff like that,
Then you never know.
I can only imagine who he can tract to the new Death Row. So I'm quite interested to see how that works. I'm a big Death Row fan as well. So yeah, I'm really
No
looking
way.
forward to what. Shut up. I'm really looking forward to what comes. And I'm hearing that I guess as part of him buying the label or owning the label, he might own some of the back catalogue as well.
That's never
So
been
that
dropped
might,
or
yeah. So some of that might get released. Like Lady of Rage. I don't think she ever dropped her album off that label. Danny Boy, the singer that was on there as well. I'm sure some Pac stuff was on there that hasn't been released as well. I feel like Dog Pound probably still have some unreleased music. Dr. Dre as well. Who else was signed there? I wonder if because Craig Mack signed to
Craig
them.
Mack was signed.
Yeah, so I wonder if like that album will be released at all.
That would be techie though.
Why?
He's like a minister now, right?
He's dead.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
I hope they could do something with it. I'm supporting it.
Snoop has got his executive hat on now, so I feel like he's in
Salute
a
to him.
zone where he wants to build Death Row and make it something else that kind of outgrows its legacy. So let's see where it goes, man.
It's nice to see though. I love artists stepping into that, man. It's important for more of us to own our genre.
Shit.
And the more execs that we produce, the more control that we have as well.
Facts only.
Yeah.
For sure. Salute to Snoop Dogg.
What we watching?
All day.
For sure. And to bring the mood down just a little bit, we wanted to send our thoughts and prayers with Isaiah Rashad, the TDE rapper, who essentially a tape, like a video has been surfacing over the web over the last couple of days of him involved in sexual activity with other men, essentially being outed against his will. And yes, basically sparked a whole conversation about, hip hop and how we react to stuff like that. So we wanted to send our thoughts and prayers to Isaiah Rashad. Obviously, he's been going through depression for quite a long time. He only just came back to the game last year with his album The House is Burning after like a 5-year absence. So for this to happen to him when he's like kind of on a better path towards like being better, it's very it's a very sad thing to happen. So love and light to him, and everyone involved and everyone associated with him.
Yeah, love and light, man.
Yeah.
Love and light.
Always.
Fuck the person who leaked it.
All day.
And that's that. On that,
The backlash shows you. I don't sidetrack. The reaction that he got, does that show you growth in hip hop? If you get what, compared to if it was 30 years ago.
no.
Because I feel
Well-
like he got defended a lot, as opposed to it would have been if it was.
Yeah, a lot of artists came out in his defense, which
Yeah,
was
exactly.
fantastic to see.
And fans
But-
as well.
But
Fans,
there is still quite a bit of ignorance.
that's always going to be there. But I'm just saying the
And
support he got.
negativity,
Do you
yeah.
think it's...
It depends on what you're valuing more. Are you valuing the positivity or the negativity more? For me, the fact that we're still having conversations about homosexuality or whatever he is, we don't know if he's actually gay, he could be bi. The fact that people still have a problem with that, for me, is always going to be a negative. I think the fact that people have come out and supported him is progressive. But I'd rather there be no negativity rather than a few people being positive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I feel about it. Salute to Isaiah Rashad, man.
All day.
Hope you're well. Stream his music as well.
Always.
Stream his music. His last album was really, really good.
Well, I was thinking about J. Cole. He started off as a rapper who also produced his music, but he, to start off with, was a rapper. He started producing, and then as we saw his career develop and elevate, we started to question whether that was holding him back, because at a certain point, his album making became a bit stagnant. His sound became a bit like mundane. So that's why I thought, where's the difficulty there with multidisciplinary artists? And I just wanted to explore it with you guys.
I think it's an interesting one. I feel like with Cole, came in the game, rapper, producer, all that good stuff. With him, I feel like the beats. I mean, his rapping is obviously undeniable. We know he's one of the best out there. Is he as good a producer as he is a rapper? And are the two interlinked? I think if you take away his rapping and you only listen to the production, you listen to the music, he's a decent enough producer. And it kind of complements what he raps about and his rap style to an extent. But when you put them all together, it can sound kind of jarring, because you know how good he is on a lyrical tip. Why can't the production be a bit better, sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, with that as well, I think if you're a rapper, you understand when you're writing your bars, I think you understand what you want that to sound like.
But do you though, or do you?
I think you
is
could.
that
I think
a
you
thought
have
in
an
your head
idea.
that
I
plays
think
you out, if you
I think you have an idea, depending on how musical of an MC that you are. Then I think you have an idea, and I think that's why you're probably more inclined to want to produce for yourself and learn that art, because you can provide. You would think that you can provide the backdrop to your own lyrics better than anybody else. But in some cases, it can hold you back as well. Like I think it's easier to be produced. Like there are so many talented musicians outside of rap that even they're produced. Like Stevie Wonder had producers, man. It's difficult to see beyond your own scope. But when you're producing your own music and you're writing the bars, it's very difficult to see the whole picture. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's where the difficulty comes in.
I think more rappers and more artists should be able to produce, because it's just a skill. Like, if you're going to become a musician, that's just a great skill to have. If you don't have the connections, which I'm sure Cole didn't have in the beginning,
Yeah.
you make the music yourself, you produce yourself. As you get more and more in this game and you network a bit more and you get more contacts with producers, naturally, you're probably going to fall back a little bit because of what you said about the scope. If J. Cole was to go to Metro Boomin will have a different idea of how J. Cole might sound over his beats than J. Cole might, sort of thing. So it's good to have that understanding of like your limitations. But I feel like rapper producers, maybe these days, or maybe since like the early 2000s, because we're not counting Kanye, are we? Because he's a producer rapper,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, in that case then, who are other rapper producers? Because I had a list, but I think my list is kind of like done out now
I
because
think
rapper producers.
Eminem.
Boy,
Skepta count?
No, because he started off as a DJ.
he was a DJ to begin with.
That's fair.
Mac Miller was a rapper first, then became a producer.
Yeah. I think Tyler, the Creator.
I think, I don't know about Tyler, you know.
What, you think he was a producer first?
I think he was both first.
As he came into the game doing both.
Yeah. We came into the game doing both. So he's a weird one. I don't know where I would put him. He's very much a rapper that produces, a producer that raps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, makes sense.
I'm not a fan of rappers produce their own songs, depending
Why?
on how far they do it.
Why not?
Like Cole had 3 albums where he was the sole producer. I don't think that can ever be the winning formula.
Are you talking about his commercially released?
Yeah, it's
albums or his mixtape.
No, it's commercially released albums.
All right, cool.
Well, just solely KOD was him.
Yeah.
Boy Eyes Only was him, and I believe Once in a lot of it was him as well.
But he also produced his mixtapes.
Yeah, but the mixtapes, I know, but a lot of the mixtapes sometimes was a dub over an old song, or like he would just get an old song and maybe get that sample and work over it. Whereas on his album, it's fresh beats for him. Do you know what I mean? And I think when you're so tunnel vision and you are a great rapper, I don't think it can work without having another producer next to you, because you don't. When you feel like you know what you need, I don't think it can always work like that. You do need another ear, because when you're rapping something and you feel like I need a production to go around this, you're so tunnel vision that if you don't see it the way you do, it can't work. Do you know what I mean? Because all you want is the way you want it.
You're not always the best judge of your
own music, because it's internal bias.
You're in it. You're in it. It's like
it's internal bias. You're gonna feel like it's hot no matter what.
It's like an onion. It's like an onion. Like you're in it. You can't bare layers, and you making your music is the layer. Do you know what I mean? And when you're in it, when you're making your own music and you're writing your own bars, you can't really pull yourself out because you're stuck into it.
Yeah, and you're naturally gonna think it's hot. You're gonna walk away thinking it's hot. You're gonna walk away thinking the bars I just laid down and the production I laid down, it goes together. But that's what you need a producer for, to be like.
Okay, so what if he's executively produced or co-produced?
But it's an actual, like a Hitboy, for example, is the one that's co-producing it.
For instance,
that works. I just feel like when you're a rapper that produces, but your sole focus is a rapper, you can't get every balanced view from it when it's you producing it.
But I want to moonwalk a little bit. I hear what you guys are saying. It's very weird because someone like J. Cole can produce all his work, think it's hot, and then release it, and then be told that it's not. Does that then invalidate how he feels about his own music? Because the masses aren't feeling it.
To a degree, yeah. When you give out your music, it's no longer yours. It's there for public opinion.
Do you think that's why he went to...
Opinions are subjective, but if more people are telling you that it's whack than it's good, then that's a bit of an indication on a lot of stuff too, unfortunately, but that's just the reality of it.
Do you think that's why Cole went to go get a producer in his last album? Because of the backlash?
He heard us.
You think that was he heard us?
He heard us.
Do you reckon that's why? But look at the way it worked. The minute you give him producers.
Well, Yem, what do you think? Because it sounds like you feel like it's not fair for us to criticize his productions if he thinks it's dope.
A part of me is thinking that because, listen, if you make something that you've dedicated yourself to and you think it's really good, everybody around you thinks it's really good, and then you release it and other people tell you that, I mean, a lot of people are telling you it's crap. I don't know if it's necessarily fair. I mean, it probably isn't fair to then say, or for that person who put all their work in, their heart and soul into that work, to go back on it and say, oh man, I really missed with this one.
But he doesn't have to agree.
Yeah.
But that criticism is fair though, in my opinion.
I think
criticisms are fair, because I think it's fair if you drop out a project and it's not it. I think we're really within our rights to tell you, yo.
But I feel like
you do need something to change here, because Cole consistently kept producing these songs.
But I feel like the majority of people who are being told that it's whack will probably accept. Actually, yeah, will probably accept that everybody else thinks it's whack, and that'll probably change their view of it, sort of thing. It's like Eminem. Eminem dropped Revival, then he dropped Kamikaze because everybody said Revival was cack, which it was. So
was Kamikaze.
Yeah. So it can change people's opinion of that piece of work that they put out, sort of thing. And obviously Eminem being a rapper producer as well, kind of relevant to the conversation as well. So,
and even on the point of Eminem, I feel like, what album did he drop? Maybe like last year, the year before, where he had more outside producers. I think it was a double disc.
Was it Music to Be Murdered By?
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like the critics were, they liked it a lot more. And it seems that because there was, external production and that. So J. Cole's not the only artist that, he struggles with that as well. But there are also artists, rappers that produce for themselves and don't miss.
Like
Rock Marciano. He hasn't missed, bro. He produces like the bulk of his own music.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. And his audience love it. There's not really been criticism. They would still love to hear him with like other producers and that, but there's been no criticism. So I think if he wasn't listening to his fans, then he could maybe question himself. But because it's been positive, you know what I mean? So it works both ways, where listening to the fans could be useful, because the fact he hasn't had any critique means that, you know what, he's doing something right. And if anything, it's just going to make him hone in on his craft even more so.
Plus, you can't really miss with his kind of production either.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying, bro.
No, don't say it like that.
Speak about it, Yemi.
You can't
Yemi,
really
speak
miss
on
with
it.
that kind of
Yemi,
production.
don't
Unless
let
you can.
Don't let the rock
No,
master
you can.
or
No, you
kill
can,
it.
because because he's one of my favorite rappers ever.
That's a fact.
I don't fuck with all these production. I don't fuck with all these beats. I don't fuck with all these songs because of the beats, not the bars. So you can miss.
Yeah, but you still love the majority, right?
Yeah.
Of course you can miss every once in a while, but generally you can't really miss with that kind of old school dusty production.
You can, man. Don't do that.
I'm talking about wide scale. Like if The Alchemist was to drop 5 albums of pure that, it's not going to be crap.
No, yeah, it won't be crap, but
No,
there'll
fair.
be some skippables.
Of course, but I'm not counting the skippables. I'm talking about like a whole like catalog. I'm not talking about the skippables. Of course, trap. There's a lot of like skippable stuff on there as well. But generally, as a sound, it's a great sound. It's the same thing with that dusty stuff. If Future hops on a trap beat, more time he's not missing. If Rock Marciano makes a dusty beat, more time he's not missing. So
Can you stop calling it dusty?
It just makes it sound like it's not clean.
Do you know what I mean?
you say dusty all the time, bro?
No, but you're saying, I don't like the way you're saying it. Though.
Okay.
I want you to. Can you like?
We need a word for that old school sounding.
What do you want to call it?
what do you
If it's
wanna
not
call it?
dusty, unclean?
We know.
Drumless soul loops.
You know what I mean as well, though. Why are you making me do this?
He doesn't know what you mean.
No, because I just don't like your tone.
Why?
Because I already feel away at the fact that you haven't really listened to his catalog.
Oh yeah, true.
And now you're like you're kind of like the way you're talking about his style of production is kind of like
It is dusty though.
it's unclean.
What is it then?
Drumless.
So what sounds better coming out of your mouth? Drumless or dusty?
Pause.
Drumless or dusty?
I'm joking.
I'm continuing.
Sorry, say that again.
Drumless or dusty? Which one sounds better?
Drumless.
Yeah. For the sake of this argument, innit?
yeah.
When we can pull up so many episodes where you've said dusty, and I've never.
Yeah, but it's
batted an
you. It's you, bro.
Yemi knows what he's doing, innit?
Yeah,
He knows what he's doing.
eye. You shut up.
Bro, why am I
You
getting
shut up
that?
because I'm not saying.
Why did I catch a straight?
I'm not saying it any other. I'm not saying it any way. I'm saying it the same way that hip hop fans and fans of Rock Marciano say. Why am I buying so much? I don't even
I know,
understand.
right?
You bit hard, but I lie.
Okay, but what about rappers like Big Crit? He produces a lot of his stuff too.
Big crit does, yeah.
And to begin with, it started off really good, but then at some point they had the J. Cole effect, where it just wasn't as effective. But how do you lot feel about it? Because that's my personal opinion.
I don't think it was his production.
What do you think it was?
I just feel Big Crit didn't, with the momentum he had, I just think people just checked out. But I don't know. I don't think it's the production why people checked out. I just think it's Big Crit. People, because I still listen to Big Crit.
Yeah.
But I think people just checked out of whether it's the production, him, whatever. I think people just checked out of Big Crit. I don't blame him for the production. And
he still makes solid albums, but I
Yeah.
feel like he missed his moment in the sun
That's
for
what it
whatever reason it was. I think it's because obviously he was he on Def Jam and
Yeah.
dropped that Live from the Underground and
Yeah.
it didn't hit. I think then you saw like a real you saw people turning off to him, and I feel like he's still trying to play catch up to that. I don't think that's necessarily anything to do with the sound, because I think even the mixtapes, leading up to that, they were dope.
Big Crit still raps his ass off, man. I like Big Crit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna say J. Cole is kind of like in that realm of like, okay, he needed outside help.
But only until a certain point, because Friday Night Lights was fire to me. He produced the bulk of that. The warm up was fire to me. He produced the bulk of that. The come up was an introduction. So,
But is that his?
He
A
made it
lot
right.
of the songs I liked, I don't want you to cut you off, by the way. But a lot of the songs I liked, for example, was Uncharted on it, on Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
And they used the Puck
Yeah,
sample.
yeah.
A lot of the songs I liked how many of them were original productions?
Too Deep with the Intro was original production.
Original, but like some of it also was samples, right? Whereas with his, do you know what I mean? It's
You
stuff
feel
that
like
we
what?
already
There was more
liked.
covers.
Yeah, it was more covers and more stuff that we already liked. So the production was already in our head from where we originally heard it. Where once KOD is all original to me.
Yeah.
Forest Hills Drive, Friday, what's the other one?
Born Sinner.
And Born Sinner,
Sideline Stories.
Sideline Story.
Yeah.
A lot of it was original production, so it's like
Maybe
it's
he just
easy
ran out
to
of
check out.
Maybe,
But his production isn't bad.
maybe he just ran out of ideas. Crazy.
I think KOD was bad. I genuinely think KOD was a
No,
poor.
musically-
Nah, it wasn't a bad.
musically,
Just
that's
to
one of his
me-
best albums.
I don't think that's
bad.
I think to me that's his. I hate that album,
I
and I think that's the production, the rapping. I couldn't stand all of it.
think J. Cole, because he has to be creative as a rapper and creative as a producer, maybe production wise, he just ran out of ideas.
Yeah.
I think he thinks,
And
too
that's
deep
very
into
easy
it.
to do.
I think he thinks too deep into it. The production and the rapping side of it got lost with him because I think he wanted to be just as much of a producer as he wanted to be a rapper. Whereas sometimes it's okay to be the rapper, and I feel like the rappers need to learn that.
But his production can be effective. Look what he gave Kendrick.
He gave him his best ever beat, but that's because he gave that.
What, you mean J. Cole's best ever beat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Not Kendrick's.
No. Cole's High Power's Cole's best ever beat in my opinion. But my point is, he gave that to someone else. If he kept that, it might not have sounded the same. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like some rappers sometimes need to stay in their lane. I get you can produce, but you don't need to do the 20 songs deep production album.
Yeah. I hear you. I mean, I think going back to the idea thing, because you have to come up with the bars and you also have to produce.
It's a hefty.
You're burning you're burning candles at both ends, sort of thing. So at some point, one of them is gonna lack, whether it's the production or the rapping. And unfortunately, that's what we've seen with Cole. We may have seen that with Crit. Is Odyssey a rapper producer?
Yeah.
And how was he to you?
Really, really good.
At both?
He marries the two very, very well. And it would actually be quite difficult to hear him over somebody else's production because I feel like he's perfected his sound. And with each release, he just keeps getting better. So he's one of those that fit into that category of people that they nice themselves with beats.
Who's the most? I don't mean to cut you off, by the way, sorry. I just want to ask a question. Who's the most commercial rapper, barcode, that we can think of that produces the bulk of their records? So not like Rock Marciano, I'm talking about commercial. It's been cack.
I think M's got a lot of co-production though.
Yeah, but still.
Tyler?
Who done the last album? It wasn't Tyler, was it?
Yeah, I think
No, it's Tyler.
That his last album.
I think he does all these shit.
Yeah, see, and that to me, that's perfection to me. In his last album, I think the production and the way he rapped, he hit the nail on the head.
I think Kanye's been probably the most commercial.
Kanye's the best at it, though, isn't it? But I look at Kanye as a producer,
Same.
then a rapper.
Yeah,
I
same.
don't look at him as a rapper.
So what we're getting at basically is you can be successful as a rapper producer if, as a producer, you've perfected the kind of sound you're going for. Rock Marcy, Odyssey. You said that they've all kind of perfected that sound.
Yeah.
Tyler. So,
But there's certain type of artists though. They're underground. So on the commercial tip,
That's what I'm saying.
if they were trying to be commercial artists, then it may not be as effective. So then we may start throwing them into this conversation of rapper producers that need to get production from elsewhere.
well, they know their lane, right? They know where they stand, and they're going to serve that audience.
It's probably harder for rappers trying to be more than just the underground.
Yes.
That's where it gets a bit techie.
Yeah.
Someone like Novelist, he produces his own stuff, right?
And it's great.
Exactly. But he's not trying to...
Yeah.
That sounds mad. But he's not trying to be massively big.
Yeah.
You feel me? He's comfortable in his lane. So for those type of artists, it works.
It's like Rock Marciano. He's comfortable in what he's doing.
Yeah, he's the overlord of the underground.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, in the mainstream, you kind of have to do more accessible sounds, which isn't akin to finding a kind of wall of your sound by yourself, sort of thing.
And how many artists in that realm produce for themselves?
Rapper producers.
Yeah, commercial.
Not a lot.
That says something though.
I can't name
But
it.
that's how it's meant to be, though.
Is it?
Yeah, because I just think if everyone started producing their own songs, it won't go well.
We don't know that.
It won't. Yes, we do.
From a commercial standpoint.
Yes, we do. We just named two people, Eminem and J. Cole.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
Yeah, but they're specific type of artists though,
they're
man.
commercial.
You don't think someone like a Future or
No,
Travis
what?
could produce their own stuff?
Oh,
Travis, I can.
But even
Future,
outside
I
of
definitely,
rap.
I can't see Travis. I can. Travis.
even outside of rap, like the Silk Sonic album, that's Bruno Mars mainly. Like
That's probably why I didn't like it.
feel you, but it was a wall of sound, a cool. It was funk. Basically,
If he would have let Anderson .Paak
If he let Pac do
lead
it.
that thing, it would have been a much nicer project.
You're probably right, but he kind of perfected that kind of sound, even though it was like Reebok funk. But who's counting? And it was fairly successful for what it was. So maybe I don't want to say it's just a rap problem, but
I think it is. Because there are sorry, I'm to cut you off, but there are so many artists outside in different genres that don't have this issue. Bruv, Prince released 30 albums, bruv. This guy was producing all that shit himself. And he was hit after hit after hit, specifically in like the 80s. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it has to be a rap problem.
It is a rap problem, I think, in terms of the way we view our art is different to how anyone else views any other. Do you know what I mean? The way we are built is internally with rap.
Yeah, I feel
Everything's competition.
Plus a lot of
we're
other
quick to
genres.
say something's not good.
Yeah.
Plus, a lot of the other genres become popular music in and of themselves,
Exactly.
like punk, like funk, and all that stuff. Whereas rap, we very much have to kind of go where the times are, sort of thing.
And again, in other genres of music, all the greats had producers.
Mike
At some stages, yeah.
Mike had
In a lot
Quincy
of the
Jones.
stages.
Mike
In a lot
had
of
Quincy
in
Jones.
some
didn't
stages, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Mike-
But he also co-produced a lot of those songs.
Yeah,
Well, his name is on the credits.
supposedly they done the drums around Thriller around him beatboxing,
Sounds about right.
which is crazy.
There you go.
That's crazy to think.
Some of these artists surprised you as well.
Bro, a lot of these artists like have bands and stuff, innit? So
Yeah.
having somebody else produce for you could be seen as them being another member of your band. So it just, yeah, sometimes just let them do the thing.
That's all I'm asking for.
Focus on the bars.
Sometimes just
And that's
write,
the maddest thing.
Just write a 32.
That's the maddest thing. A lot of these rappers, yeah, they ain't even that nice like that. But they want to try and come and be producing their own stuff. My friend, will you concentrate on the bars, bro?
I haven't had a good
Do
32.
you want to take this pod to the next level and name some names?
Yeah, I will do it right now. I ain't heard a
I ain't got no days.
Can I do one? I ain't heard a nice 32 from Eminem in about 25 years.
Why do you keep doing this?
That's a lie.
What was the last time you... Alright, cool. Is this what we're
Why
doing?
are we doing
Give me
this?
the last nice 16 you heard from Eminem.
But I don't really listen to M anymore, so
So what was the last time you
he's
heard?
still nice though, man. We ain't gonna do that.
Listen, his EPMD,
Let's be honest, bro.
Still nice.
Yeah, of
his
course.
EPMD remix verse after about 20
Or with
bars.
Nas.
Yeah, after 20 bars. He should have stopped after 20 bars.
What did you say?
If he had stopped before he started the hibbity hibbity hibbity, then I would have said it was a great, well, not great, but it was a good verse.
Nah,
So
he
he hasn't given us a nice 32 in about...
32.
Yeah.
Well, I've not been listening to Eminem for about a decade, so
That's fair.
it is what it is.
But stick to the bars, man. It feels up to me, my rappers were... I'll be honest with you. In a perfect world, my rappers will stick to rapping and the producers stick to producing. Now, I'm not saying you can't produce when you want to. I'm just saying
So
there's
basically,
so many great producers out there you can take ideas from. I don't see why you wouldn't want to do it. I get it. You want to be... It's your art. But there's so many producers out there. Why won't you want to pick a tree from Timbo?
because
or
it's their
something?
art, bro.
I get it though.
It's their art.
It is, but
Art.
you should want to seek it, if you know what I mean. Like what?
Nah, I don't know about should.
Nah.
Why wouldn't you?
I
When
shouldn't,
you've got
I shouldn't
goals.
want to seek it. I shouldn't want to seek
not
it.
want to seek it, but it's like,
If I was an MC and I could produce for myself, I would make a lot of my own music.
but you're telling me you
But
wouldn't.
because I'd want to like just try different things, then I'd probably seek out other producers.
That's what I'm saying.
But not all artists have that. Control freaks.
Or what?
Artistic people are
They're
musicians. They're control freaks. It's their project. It's their
It's
baby.
their baby. Yeah.
Artists like sensitive to their shit. To quote the great Erykah Badu. So they may not. Do you know what I mean? They may not want to incorporate someone else within something that's theirs.
Yep.
And I get it.
I would.
I get it too.
I hear you.
So,
It's me being selfish, isn't it? I just would love for the branch out.
I mean, yeah, in an ideal world, they would be open to it. A lot of these rappers would be open to it. But you got to get them there.
Yeah,
You got to get them there. It's not going to be a thing where they wake up one day and they're thinking, okay, yeah, I want so-and-so to produce my album. You got to get them there first. And if
Precisely.
they get there, cool. If they don't, then whatever happens will happen.
No, I hear you. I hear you. It can work. I mean, it worked with Cole and Born Sinner for me personally, so it can work.
It didn't really work with Born Sinner.
I love Born Sinner.
I wasn't going to be the one to say it.
If I did it, that's my best album from Cole for me personally.
It's not.
I really fuck with Born Sinner. I mean, after last one.
I think Born Sinner has the privilege of being next to some utterly horrible albums, so we look at it in a better light than maybe we should.
Oh yeah, it did come around. It come around the Yeezus when Yeezus dropped, didn't it?
No, I'm talking about Sideline Story,
Oh,
Rise Only.
we're not doing because straight after that was 2014 from
No, but I'm saying it's still staying next to in J. Cole's catalogue
a lot of shitness.
some very below par albums. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
So we look at Born Sinner. Well, you look at Born Sinner in a better light.
It's like J. Cole's Take Care.
Yeah. Ooh.
No, I'll say Forest Hills Drive is his Take Care. The way people try to elevate Take Care to a classic, people try to elevate Forest Hills to a classic.
That would be his classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shout out Cole. Shout out to all the rapper producers. Shout out Rob Marciano. And yeah, shout out to Dust.
Shout out to the Dust, man.
Shout out to the Dust.
Shout out to the Dust.
All right, guys, we're going to move on to the second topic of today. We're going to get into our conspiracy bag.
Ooh.
It's definitely conspiracy.
The guy who says, ooh, there's the one who came up with this topic. But
Shock.
for real. But we basically want to talk about, I don't even know how you intro this, but we want to talk about whether there is a systematic attempt
Oh.
by the powers that be
The other man.
in the music industry to dumb us, the viewing and listening public, down with the type of music that they push into the world. Peter,
Yes, sir.
as the inventor of this topic and the best user of the word systematic, what made you think of this topic, bro? I can't wait for this. Old head alert.
Yeah, it's gonna sound like that, isn't it?
You're an old head, so it's cool.
Yeah, I guess. I've had this thought for time.
Really?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. I've had this thought for time. When you look at, I guess, the music that is deemed to be the most popular, and you look at the artists that are deemed to be the most popular, they all seem to have the same sort of things in common, the same sort of sound in common, content, same sort of stuff. And it just, for a time, it kind of felt like there just wasn't much range within hip hop. So it just kind of got me thinking, like, what's going on here? Why does it seem to be only one type of sound that is pushed commercially?
Just for context, do you mean now music or just?
I'm talking about
last time
now,
on?
but we can reference the past as well because it started in the 90s.
That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm also talking about now. So it just got me thinking as to whether there's something more sinister to it. Like, is there something where these labels are only propelling and pushing a certain type of artists and a certain type of sound? And that sound is trap, where the content is mainly about selling drugs, killing, bit of misogyny. I'm just wondering. I wanted to discuss it with my comrades. Do you lot feel like there is a systematic something going on, even if it's not necessarily dumbing us down? Is there something to it to where only one thing is being pushed and there's not really much balance within the commercial realm of hip hop?
Well, it's a great question. I feel like
It's gonna be a fun one.
it's going to be a fun one. Popular rap music is very much based on a few tenets. And if you want to go back to the 90s when it was gangster rap and, you know, the presentation of, you know, black men and black women in that space, to the present day with trap, with the drugs and, you know, the sex and all that kind of stuff. From a very, like, macro level, they're pushing the stuff that sells. And the stuff that sells is the kind of more stereotypes about black people, that, you know, non-black people and non-black listeners of hip-hop are interested in listening to, whether that's to really get a glimpse of what it is to be black and to be in the black community, or because they want their already predetermined views of black people to be confirmed. And that's been going on for time. I feel like in today's day and age, it's probably less damaging for the black community than maybe it was in the 90s.
Why do you feel that?
Because I feel like in the 90s, especially with like people, like especially in America, who was that person? Was it Dolores Tucker?
Yeah.
Who was attacking like gangster rap
Yeah.
in the 90s?
Yeah, she wasn't the only one, but yeah.
She wasn't the only one.
But
So-
Puck mentioned her in it.
Who?
Puck mentioned her in the song.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah. Whereas compared to now, we don't necessarily get as much like uproar about trap music or the commercial rap that we hear on the radio and all that stuff. It's kind of just there. It's like furniture now. Whereas back then, maybe when it was new and hip hop from what it was in the 80s, evolving into what it became in the 90s, as far as like the imagery of like rappers and women and the sex and the misogyny and the word bitch, the N-word and all that kind of stuff. It was new, it was fresh, it was frightening for a lot of communities, especially within our own. So there were concerted attempts to kind of quell that, to kind of like, not kill, but, you know, dampen and lessen the noise that gangster rap and commercial rap at the time was basically. So I feel like even in today's day and age, it might not be as like bad in terms of like how damaging it might be, but to the question of whether there's a systematic attempt, I'm not going to say it's not. I'm not going to say this argument doesn't have legs, because it does have legs. And I feel like it's definitely something worth discussing. What do you think, Mo?
Do I think there's a systematic attempt?
Yo, if I can feel the tension in the room.
Because you know what it is? It's such a tricky one to answer.
Yeah.
Like, do I think it's the record label saying what should be? They can't decide what's hot. At the end of the day,
Yes, they absolutely
I
can.
think we do as consumers a lot as well, though. Regardless if they can, we still are the ones that say what's hot or not.
It's a chicken and an egg.
It
thing.
is to a certain degree. Because if
chicken-
I say to you, who's in the top 5, you're going to say Puck, right?
Yes.
And he was doing it in the 90s, right?
Yes.
Do you get what I mean? So we still decide what we think is.
You can't use me as a measuring stick. Because
Are you not a fan?
Yes, but bro, most people that listen to music these days that are even our age, man, they love a lot of the commercial stuff that's like being released now. So I'm not a good measuring.
Not you personally, though. I'm saying, but we as fans are the ones that decide what's hot.
Are you talking about we in this
Not
room?
we
Or
in
you
this
talking
room.
about
I'm just saying the people that listen to hip hop
okay, to a degree.
to a degree. But if we, how can I put it? Oh, it's such a tricky one.
I feel like it's a chicken and egg thing. I'll use Giggs as an example. Obviously, Talking the Hardest came out. He got signed off the back of that. So that was the streets determining what's hot for the labels to then sign, sort of thing. But there are other examples, I'm sure, of labels seeing a trend forecasting, as is now the popular phrase, and kind of gauging and channeling a strategy towards making music for their artists around that trend. So it's very much like what came first. And I think in some situations, you can say it's the label kind of manufacturing it, but you can also say it's the streets and us as fans kind of seeing something and it propelling.
It was, but so if we go back to the 90s, when there was an issue with Dolores Tucker or whoever that was making comments about because Snoop was a big one that they were going at as well.
Yeah.
But we're the ones that decided, obviously we were young then, but I'm just saying the fans back then are the ones that decided, nah, these are our people. We're going to still listen to Snoop. We're still listening to Puck. We're still listening to NWO. Do you get what I mean? So it's like, if we've now decided that,
But them man were already hot.
but why were they hot?
The labels,
okay, but
the
why
labels,
were
the
they?
labels,
But why were they hot?
The labels had already put the necessary money into
You think it was the-
propelling them into a certain point. So by that time, we had already loved them. So we weren't going to throw these people in the bin.
But we
the owners-
also decided that the music was hot.
Yeah, of course, the streets.
Yeah.
To a degree. To a degree, bro. The streets can only take it so far.
Yeah, because
Up until a certain point, the labels now come in and be like, all right, cool, you know what, boom, we're pushing this.
yeah,
This
because
is gonna
but
be the new hot
why
thing.
did they push it though? Because the streets fucked with it.
It depends on the stance you want to take. Me personally, I feel like they pushed it because there was less of a message in a lot of that type of music. A lot of the gangster shit, there wasn't.
Do you not just think it's
there wasn't
easier
really
to-
much of a message there, and it was easier for that to be pushed.
Because it's easier to cross over.
But then
Because what you're gonna
That's subjective.
It's-
Easier to cross over. I don't know.
I'll give you an example. What say the certain songs, you're gonna more likely hear that in a club. The ones that are disrespectful, the ones that are then I Know I Can from Nas. So like, as much as we,
I never want to hear Nas I Can in a club.
do you get what I mean though? So at the end of the day, no, but that's my point though. So as much as they are dumbing it down, we are also the ones that are going, this is what I want to hear in a club though.
I might be fast forwarding the conversation, but do we not have to look at ourselves and the kind of music that we're making?
Tell me more.
So when we talk about, fucking bitches, money, cash holes, all that kind of stuff, we could argue that the label's making them do this stuff. But we could also say that this is something that the artist wants to do. The artist wants to put out music that is that kind of topic and that subject matter, knowing that it's going to be popular and it's going to be successful. That's going to help their bottom line, help them rise in the ranks, help them become a big fixture, whilst also dumbing down what commercial rap can be.
Okay.
So do we not have to look at ourselves a little bit as well and the type of music we're making? Because there's loads of mainstream rappers. There's also a lot of conscious rappers. The conscious rappers aren't getting the time of day as much because they're being drowned out by the mainstream rappers who know that if they rap about selling drugs, shooting people, fucking bitches, it's going to get them more attention and get them more plays.
But what if that's all they know? Not all they know, but what if that's the life they come from? What if they really do come from killing people, fucking women, and making money? Like, what if that's their life?
Yeah.
I can't tell a man from Harlem if he wants to come up and all he's rapping is about selling drugs. If that's the life he's lived, regardless of it dumbing it down for us or not, we should be able to still appreciate that's all he knows.
Yeah, it's art, right? I want to be clear of what I'm saying in it. I appreciate and understand that different people come from different walks of life, innit? And you're going to express what you know. That's fine, innit? But there was a certain time in hip hop. You're going to make me sound like such a fucking old head.
You are an old head.
You know what?
Please
Just
accept this.
accept it, man. I will move. My heart's still.
There was a certain point in rap here where it seemed like the music being made was mainly coming from a place where there was a political message. There was a lot of black pride associated to the music being pushed and promoted and made, and it just seemed a lot more responsible. At a certain point, it kind of felt like there was a shift, and suddenly the Public Enemy. I don't even listen to Public Enemy. The Public
Shout out
Enemy.
Public Enemy, though.
Shout out to Public Enemy.
All day.
Shout out to Public Enemy.
I think I have to say that because
People think you're out here listening to Public Enemy.
I'm sounding like an old head, isn't it?
So wait, you think it's going to make you sound less like an old head by not mentioning them?
No, but just I haven't really listened to them like that, but I acknowledge their status as legends. Do you know what I mean?
What's wrong with this guy?
But yeah, so shit, I forgot what I said. Yeah, so there came a point where the Public Enemies and the X-Clans and the flipping Brand Nubians and
Question though, Pete.
all these other artists that were coming through, Rakims and that in the 80s that had a message and stuff like that, they stopped being pushed.
Were they ever mainstream though? Because I feel like at that time, we didn't really have a mainstream or underground. It was kind of all in the same kind of field, I feel like. I think there was a shift between mainstream and underground. I think, and shout out to Justin Hunt, he said it was around 96 when De La Soul dropped Stakes Is High, Nas dropped It Was Written. There was a clear divide.
No, there was a shift before that. I think there was a shift when NWA came out.
Cool.
That's
that was a shift.
Yeah,
That was
there were gangster rappers that preceded them just before, but none were as popular as them. Do you know
But
what I mean?
they also-
so when they came through and it was very effective, that shifted a lot, man.
But then
it allowed artists from that ilk to make the same type of music, and I guess that's what the label saw and thought, you know what, this could be profitable. Let's push more of that. Let's stop pushing that.
But I disagree with you to a certain degree because didn't KRS-One rap about an underage minor once?
Criminal Minded.
And when did that drop?
87?
Do you get what I mean? So it's.
But he was still conscious.
But look what he's rapping about, mashing an underage girl.
He was conscious and gangster. He was
Give me
talking about
more
shooting
context
people.
though, because I haven't listened to this.
Like there's a song, I don't know it verbatim, but I've heard it where he essentially goes 14 and he's moving to her. And in the video you see him moving to her as well.
And generally, like when he first came out with BDP, Criminal Minded was a lot more gangster than conscious.
So as much as there was conscience, there was still fuckiness going on amongst it. So even at its core, when it first come out, that was still around.
So you're saying that it was always there.
It was always there. Just
So you're saying that the labels always.
no, I do think there's some. I do think labels are they do push certain things, but I think at the same time, it's always been there. My point being,
Yeah, it's a thing of what, again, it
Balance,
came
isn't
first.
it? Yeah. Okay, cool. And that balance is fine. And that's probably a different conversation. But when something is being pushed more than the other, or there's only one thing being pushed, that's where like someone like me starts looking at it with the side eye and kind of looking at the whole scope of things. And that's kind of where I've been at for a while.
Well, Pete, it's not in the label's best interest to push the more positive stuff if it means they're making less money.
So you've answered my question.
The label's
It
going to
doesn't
push.
have to make less money though. It comes down to promotion. I was listening to an interview with Lord Jamar, and he was talking about, because somebody asked him a similar question, like when all these gangster rappers were coming out and making all these tunes, that were essentially like encouraging the destruction of our communities. Where were all the conscious rappers? Why did they stop? Why didn't they diss them, man? Lord Jamar was like, no, we did. We were going at them, man. But you just weren't hearing it because the labels weren't putting money behind budgets no more. So, like, who's to say it doesn't? It can't make money. But if the label's not pumping it, then of course it ain't gonna make P.
Yeah,
if
but-
no one's seeing it, of course it ain't gonna make money.
But I also think it's not as easy to say we're going to pump money in this and it's going to become successful. Like,
Bro, but there's programming and conditioning though, bro. These labels do it all the time, bro.
Yeah, but cool.
Like, if you look at look at us, look at like music now, look at hip hop now, bro. Like, we're definitely programmed to enjoy some bullshit.
That's a fact.
100% these labels do that.
No, I give him that.
It's true though. These labels definitely do that, bro. Like, if you look at that, listen to some of the music being made, man. A lot of it's crap, but we are so conditioned and programmed to where we listen to it so much, and it's kind of like, oh, this is actually alright.
All right.
But come on, man.
Do you in your heart of hearts think that Talib Kweli I Try would be as popular as any Drake song if it was pushed the same way?
No.
So it's not as easy as to say, give him the right amount of promotion and it's going to be successful.
I'm not saying that it's easy, but we can't ignore that scope though. We can't ignore the power in promotion. We can't ignore the power in having the backing of a label, bro. We can't.
I'm not ignoring it, but I'm saying it's just not. I don't think it's going to be as effective,
even if the label
because of the content,
the biggest amount of money behind it.
I don't think it's going to be as effective because of the content.
It's never going to be.
I mean, now, yeah, because hip hop's in a certain place.
Even
if, but back then, you can't tell me this. You can't pose this argument
back when though.
Back in like early 90s, you can't pose this argument, bro.
But then there wasn't a mix.
Hang on.
Yemi's about to get any.
Yeah, because Yemi was Yemi.
No, so let's say Black Star Definition. Is that as successful as California Love? No. Because it was on a label. It was on Raucous.
But Raucous is a different type of label. Everything you say, I've got a response for.
Raucous
was an underground label, bro. It definitely didn't have as much money as Death Row via Interscope.
Cool.
Via Universal. Come on, man.
Fine. But again, we were at that point where conscious rappers, cool, they were about, but there wasn't as labels may not have seen as much of an investment in them because of the content.
Yeah, but bro, that had happened when the shape of hip hop had already kind of been shaped. We had already seen it. We had already seen like the split between the mainstream shiny suit, polished type of sound versus the underground. So what Black Star were making were more the underground stuff. But by that point, we knew what it was. The distinction was already made that. All right, cool. If you make this type of music, you can be as successful as this. If you make this type of music, you're only going to go but so far. So that's what happened there. You can't compare fucking Black Star to California.
All right, fine. When do you think the split was?
Probably around like 95, 96.
95, 96.
Around that time.
So
around like when Bad Boys started really becoming popular, when Death Row really started becoming popular as well. But the precursor of that was like when the content in the music started changing. That's when it made it easier for certain men from the streets to enter the game and make a certain type of music, and that be the predominant type of rap being made.
Okay. So if we're going to compare someone like Poor Righteous Teachers.
Yes.
They were around, they started like 92, 93?
Yeah.
Something like that. I'm sure, because we didn't have an underground, we didn't have labels like Raucous. I'm sure they were on major labels or labels that were a subsidiary of major labels. Are Poor Righteous Teachers at that point more successful or as successful, or is their message being propelled as much as, let's say, an NWA or Tupac or people like that?
Of course they weren't. And that's not to say that some of these artists weren't on labels that weren't pushing them, providing them funds to promote their music. They were, but because at that time, even though you were seeing the distinction between different type of hip hop being made, that sound wasn't all the way defunct. Like, you could still make P off that, but it just weren't going to be as much as what certain other men were making. So you were still going to have groups like Poor Righteous Teachers, like, making music, putting videos out there and making a little bit of P. But I don't think that's an indication that labels still weren't, masterminding some crazy plan.
So no matter what example that I put out, there's going to be an element of the labels having a master plan to push us.
Bro, the labels dictate everything. We can't escape that.
Yeah,
as much as we want to empower our artists,
I agree with you there.
That's 100% it, bro. If the labels now decided that, and that's why I think
it's not just the labels that are dumbing us down, though.
No, the artists have a responsibility as well, of course,
and the fans.
I mean, the fans, by proxy of conditioning, there's only so much control that they have as well.
Not really, because you the same way you confined what you want.
Right.
So can the fans, right?
Yeah, but not. How many fans are really into like thought-provoking shit commercially? And that's where the conditioning and the programming comes into it. And that's why I asked this question: has there been a systematic attempt to dumb us down? Because now we're all at a point where, like, one sound and one type of hip hop and content is popular, and that's all it is.
Well, I personally think the labels and artists work in tandem. I don't think one is more to blame than the other.
If that was the case, bruv, then you wouldn't have someone like Lupe Fiasco having issues with Atlantic and releasing music and them saying, you're not releasing this album, it's not ready because he ain't got a single. So I don't know if we can say that. And we've got bare labels that do that.
Yeah, but they're at that point now with Lasers and Lupe where they don't think he dropped albums before that had singles and stuff, and he wanted a fresh direction with Lasers, and they weren't having it. And that's fine. But I still think that's very much in the minority. I think the majority of artists that are on major labels want to do stuff that's more accessible, that's more commercial, more time, especially nowadays, because that's the climate we're in. Lupe is very much, I think, in the minority of people who wanted to do something different and the label stopped him because we were in the climate where we needed a single.
So you don't think the accessibility has been shaped?
Yeah, by the labels and the artists. Because again, it goes back to gangster rap. A lot of them come from that life. And that life and the way they rapped about it became popular.
I think also,
and with that, the label saw that and was like, cool, we're doing this because it's popular. I don't think it is as potent with the kind of more conscious like subject matter because it's not as popular. Because maybe if we're going to be very, very real, not as many people want to hear about that sort of stuff. The empowering stuff. They just don't, for whatever reason.
Yeah, and listen, I'm of that sometimes too. There's a time and place, of course, but once upon a time, that was all that was being made.
But it's not all the label's fault that that's not the case anymore. That's all. It can't be. It can't just be the labels. Like, the labels aren't going to artists and saying, I'm going to sign you if you make this music. More often than not. It's going to be because a rapper has been doing bits of what he's been doing and they see that and we're like, oh, we want a piece of that. And they're going to encourage him to keep doing the same thing.
But there are some artists that they do get approached by labels and they are one way when they're approached by that label, and then by the time the label's gotten involved, everything has changed. Their sound has changed, their image has changed.
Do you want to name anyone?
Who can I think of? I can't think of anyone right now, but
I think depending on the artist, the label. Like, look at Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick can take it any which way he wants.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think the artists do have some power in it as well.
I think in the case of Kendrick, it might be a little different because he signed to Aftermath and Dr. Dre is obviously an artist. But on the flip of that, Jay Electronica, he's been on Rock Nation for 35 years.
Do you think it's
he didn't drop his thing because Jay wanted a single, right?
yeah.
So
do you think it's different when I got a question for you? Do you think it's different when an artist signs you as to when a label signs you?
No.
So you don't think why Kendrick and Jay are the examples is because it's Jay-Z and Dr. Dre as opposed to a label, if you get what I mean?
Yeah, but Kendrick ain't really signed to Dre like that.
Is he not signed to Aftermath?
He's more, he's TDE now. And I think
but that's
through Aftermath. Yeah, but it doesn't seem like Dre's that involved.
Right, fair enough.
And
I
Kendrick is so big that I think he dictates. Like,
yeah, but they let him from the start dictate it. Do you get what I mean? So you think there's a difference when you sign to an artist as opposed to directly from a label, whereas the artist
It depends.
let you.
It depends on the
Really,
artist.
yeah.
Because someone like Kendrick, he already had displayed the ability to
He knew what he was doing already.
accessible music.
yeah, it depends. And then you could think about someone like Birdman and him signing Wayne. Obviously, Wayne was, from young doing what he was doing. And you see how that relationship went. So the artist to artist relationship when an artist signs you isn't all Ross and Meek or Wale, one of them. Meek.
Well, I think they're good now.
But even still, like, sometimes the artist who is signing you might not always have your best interest at heart as far as like the music goes.
Yeah.
Because they know how the business works and they want to make money and they're pushing you to make music that will make money. So I think it works in tandem. I think it works in tandem mainly. You ain't convinced.
Nah,
definitely not convinced.
I'm still putting it more on the labels, man.
I'm putting on the labels as well, but I do think if a rapper all he knows is that, it's a dicey one. But I do think that the labels do push a certain sound. But I think that changes as time goes on. If it's not, it was trap, then it was gangster rap, then it evolved into something else, now it's evolved into trap. It's just the evolution of it. And I think the artist also search for whatever's hot. So as much as the labels want it, I think artists also chase whatever's hot.
Plus, like, now with the internet and social media, and the significance of labels isn't necessary as far as like making artists available to be consumed, isn't as significant as it once was. Again, you can find the kind of stuff that you want, and they're popular and they're being listened to in a way that they deem successful. So it might not be mainstream, but you know, they're eating, they're successful, they're accomplished artists in their own rights. So the definition of what it means to be mainstream or popular has changed completely. Like, it's not just we play you on the radio, you're getting interviewed on radio, this, that, and the other. It's not just that now, because anyone could. Corday could go on radio now. Earl could go on radio right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's democratized in that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's something to think about. So, more of the story. Salute to a word to Jay Huss. It's a big conspiracy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think so. Man.
It's a question.
It's a deeper, darker criminal.
Listeners, I hope.
Wait, hold on.
It's a deeper,
Pete, say
darker
that again?
criminal link. 100%, bro.
Deeper, dark criminal link.
For sure.
Sorry, I just wanted Peter to get that off.
For
I
sure.
genuinely just wanted Peter to
Listeners,
get that off.
I hope you
For sure.
know now, finally, just how much of an old head this Peter
For
is.
sure, bruv.
It's a big conspiracy.
But we've got no conscious rappers that are like really killing it commercially, other than like someone like a Kendrick.
They never really did, though, man. They never did.
They never did.
They never did.
Yeah, you had the
Oh,
Common.
they did.
They
Common
never did, bro.
Nah,
They
tell
did,
me
bro.
one that
They never
consistently was on
did.
top. Common came and went.
It depends on what you mean by
he had-
success as well.
He had bits and pieces. Common was here, like in and out. But tell me one that's been a pinnacle point for like a decade.
In the 80s and like
Brother,
early
you're
90s and
stop going back to when I was before I was born, my guy.
That's a small sample size because the
And even
room for
then-
success was smaller.
And even then, when you go back to the 80s,
A conscious rapper wasn't doing 2-pack numbers. Hasn't done 2-pack numbers. Hasn't done Eminem numbers.
Pacs
You know what I'm
are-
saying?
he's a
and we need to look into. And
Pacs are conscious
he
rappers.
also said
Fine.
bitches ain't shit but holes and tricks. So what are we doing?
He didn't say that.
He didn't say that actually, did he?
Don't do that.
My bad. He said. I mean, there was a video when he goes.
I mean, the word bitch has left his mouth a
a
lot of times.
few times.
So what?
How conscious can he be?
Conscious MCs can't say the word bitch.
Is that what we're doing? Is what we're doing for your goal?
And also,
Oi.
when you look at the 80s, there were a lot of, as much as they were conscious, there was also a lot of nasty things they were rapping about. KRS in particular. So it's like,
Don't say they. That's one.
I said KRS. But no, I saw a few. I just didn't write. I saw KRS and I was meant to write down another one. But my point being, yeah, he was conscious, but he also rapped about stuff you can't rap about today. Let a rapper talk about a 14-year-old, he'll get cancelled. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to be fair here. It's like, that was also being pushed. So I think rappers are going to want to rap about what they want to rap about, but labels are going to push whatever's hot.
And how much of it is affected by what's actually happening in our communities?
What do you mean?
Is the music, the popular music, also a reflection of what's happening in our communities?
Yes.
Do we get to pick what's hot? I mean, we get to, but who buys the most?
The reason why I asked that, because I think, just thinking back to when Public Enemy were doing their thing, it seemed like there was a lot of a lot of political unrest. There was a lot of a lot of social commentary that was being absorbed by these artists, and I guess the music was more reflecting the times.
Do you think we had
as
more
well,
control?
whereas- and then the crack era hit, and I guess that was even more reason why they felt the need to use their voices and put certain messages in their music. But the crack era was
Was a black
our version. But our version of that is like Molly and Lean and that, and that's still a thing. But our artists aren't really talking about that as far as it being a negative. They're talking about it from the perspective where it's cool to use.
Can I ask you a question though? Could we?
So
No, my fault.
so on that, like, I forgot the point I was trying to make.
My fault.
Listen.
So yeah.
No, I genuinely had a question. Do you think it's because back then we could control what we like, whereas now
We can still
because-
control what we like.
No, because the biggest consumer of rap music is white people, respectfully. So they also dictate what's number one, number two. Do you know what I mean? So therefore, they could dictate what's hot as well a lot of the times, whereas back then we did.
And we were still doing gangster rap.
But it was also mixed with both.
Yeah. I hear that. Plus, the 90s, generally, Well, I don't even know if I could say that, but I feel like in the 90s, not that it was a more conscious era, it was an era that where more and more rappers and artists were taking influence from the conscious period, as opposed to now where it seems that a lot of artists are desensitized or detached from what's going on around them to only rap about what they're rapping about. So maybe the shift in like how you approach art has changed too, in that respect. In the 90s, you couldn't avoid like, you know, Afrocentrism, dashikis, X-Clan, whatever they were talking about, all that kind of stuff. Whereas now, it might be a little bit easier to avoid it because there's so much going on in the world. Digga D doesn't have to rap about, you know, the police. He can rap about drilling, and that is his bottom line done, sort of thing. So there's a lot of circumstances around this debate, which means that it's always going to be murky because we're never going to know for sure. We're only going to have our opinions and our views. So it's a big conspiracy.
Yeah.
Bet. All right, we're going to move on to the last topic of today, the fun topic.
Oh, I'm going to like this one.
It's a real simple one, really. We've obviously been to a lot of gigs, live concerts, live shows in our lifetime, seen some amazing ones.
We thank God.
I remember seeing A Tribe Called Quest at Wireless, Tip, Fife and Ali Shaheed.
Oh, yeah, must have been in his bag.
He was in his bag.
I was in my bag. And this was, oh man, that lineup was crazy. So it was like, it was 2 Chainz, A$AP Rocky, it was Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake together because it was around like Magna Carta times.
Was it Wireless?
Wireless, yeah, 2013.
Oh, shit.
Nas as well, Nas before Jay. Rihanna came out for a cameo.
All of these, man.
Yeah, and then A Tribe Called Quest finished it off. Fantastic.
Best show you've been to?
Best back-to-back, for
Yeah,
sure.
as in the
Yeah,
line.
that was
dashiki.
amazing. Did I wear my dashiki? Nah, I was probably wearing some bullshit, but not the dashiki. So we've been to some great gigs. I know Peter's obviously been to a lot of like great like jazz gigs and that. We were actually at one like recently this week.
Salute
Shout
to
out
them.
Steam Down.
Big up, Steam Down.
Big up Steam Down. Mohammed. I mean,
I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
yeah.
No, all jokes aside, I thoroughly enjoyed myself at that jazz festival. Who would have known?
Jazz Festival.
Fools going there and start doing this. Can't lie.
Soon come.
Bro, I was ready for Kill, Stab, Believe,
This guy-
but I didn't get that.
This guy was doing hip hop bops to jazz,
He was doing hip hop bops to jazz.
to saxophone solos and shit.
What was I meant to do?
Nasty.
What was I meant to do?
Yo, you nasty.
Bruv, you no, we're not doing that because you did Gunfingers, bro.
And he let off.
That's the most
And
South
he let off.
in South London as well. That's the most South London thing you could do in South London.
Hey, man.
Gunfingers at a jazz gig.
That's a bit wild, did it?
That's nasty.
That's the title of this
But
episode.
that's how I salute, though.
No, that's not how you
That's how I
salute.
salute, yeah, man.
How about you
Oh, you
actually
let off?
salute?
Yeah, that's how I salute.
How about you actually salute?
No, it's funny that,
How about that?
that thumb is the nasty.
Because doing the Gunfingers is more effort than actually saluting. You want to salute all the old heads that don't make the Mount Rushmore, but you want to do Gunfingers at a jazz gig.
Yeah.
You make me sick, bro.
Yeah, man.
I enjoyed myself.
Gunfingers forever.
Anywho, we have all been to some amazing gigs, but the fun topic is going to be talking about some of the worst gigs we've ever been to.
Oh.
The ones that just didn't hit, the ones what the artist was just pure cack, the one that, you know, will ever, forever stain your opinion
Forever,
of that
ever?
artist. So we're going to start with Mohammed. Mohammed, what's the worst gig you've ever been to?
So I've got a few, but the one I'm going to say, I'm going to blame it on age. And it goes to Notes. But I sincerely want to blame his age because he was young. But the show was cack. Like, it was bad. The set was bad. The live rapping was bad. The Tiny Temper coming up for 15 minutes for no reason was bad.
The plaque and the watch.
The plaque, everything was bad in the show. But I sincerely think it's nothing but youth. Now, if I had to go to an adult, and this was the first concert I went to, and in hindsight, I think it was the poorest I've been to as well, was Rick Ross. And I'm a Rick Ross fan.
Real.
Rick Ross was bad, man. Like, I've got an issue when I go to a live performance and it's not a live band. That really irks me. Like, it really irks me. If I pay money to go see you live and you've got a DJ, it's going to piss me off. So Rick Ross must have had a live DJ. I think he done like a 20-minute set and went home.
But how many rappers have live bands?
Not many.
Not many.
There you go.
But I've been to Cole 5 times. He's had live bands. I've been to
J. Cole.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think who else. I've been to Jay-Z. Jay-Z had a live band. Whoever it is.
Look at the people you're mentioning.
Okay, cool. Is it not?
Rick Ross can't be in that league?
But he just may not want to.
Can I not expect it though?
No.
Why not?
Why would you expect a live band?
Because it's music. I want to hear music.
Plus, the type of music he makes as well would sound great with a live band.
Yeah, it's sounding great. Cool. Subjective, but cool. But, fam, it's not a given that he has to have a live band.
Well, I think he should have. And do you know what it was as well? The set was 20 minutes. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here?
Was it his headline show?
It was his show.
Was this Fat Rick Ross?
Like, yeah, it was like this was my first concert I ever went to. So this was like 12, 13 years ago. This was Rich Forever mixtape.
Oh, yeah. He was in his band.
Like, it was touring just off the mixtape alone. So it was like maybe like 25, 30 minutes. But the
Wait, was it a headline show?
yeah.
Oh, he took the piss.
Yeah, so
And
then
he was the only one performing.
nah, so he had people that was opening for him. They got booed off the stage. Like they got fully booed. Some UK artists, boo, get out of here, man. So he ran away. Rick Ross calmed down half an hour, kicked rocks.
And he was the headline act.
And he was the headline act. So Rick Ross and Rick, I still want to see him again though. So Rick Ross and Notes are my two.
That's disrespectful.
That's crazy. Shut up.
And the best live show I ever went to was Jay-Z. Just want to put that out there.
Feel you.
I'll go next. Mine was probably a toss-up between Jay Electronica and ASAP Rocky.
What is the worst?
Yeah, man.
Talk about it.
Like Jay Electronica, he was dope until he started going into the crowd and just like talking to fans mid-performance, and bruv, he weren't even spitting the whole verse anymore, man. He was just kind of letting them do their thing. It was annoying, bro.
You know what song this was as well?
Don't tell me Exhibit C.
It was Exhibit C.
Wait, as in he let the fans rap Exhibit C?
Bro, this guy was in there doing like, I don't know what he was
the
doing.
crowd in the middle of Exhibit C.
You know why he's taking a piss?
What are you doing?
At that point, you only had 7 songs.
Bro.
Don't let Exhibit C
It
be
was
the one that you just,
disrespectful,
yeah, it
man.
is.
And it took security time to lift him up because he's stocky, brother.
Yeah, it was,
So he was just missing. He was just missing all the bars. He wasn't rapping at all.
I was disappointed.
You was there as well?
Yeah, man.
I was very disappointed. I said, I'm never going to see him again. And then ASAP Rocky, not because ASAP Rocky was a bad performer, but I just wasn't a fan. I only went because Yemi and Rich had a spare ticket. And I just wasn't a fan. It was too rowdy for me. Like, there was bare just mosh pits and that. Everyone was hyped, acting uncivilized and uncouth. Like, I just was like, yeah.
But you're not a fan of him
It
anyway.
just weren't really my
Yeah, you're not a
scene
fan
in
of
that. Do you know what I mean? I saw Yemi and Rich having the time of their lives. I was thinking to myself,
Yemi definitely had the time of his
what am I doing here? Do you know what I mean? But from what I could see, it was a good performance though. It was around Goldie time, I think. Yeah, Goldie time and that. But it just wasn't really me in it. So
didn't move.
for that, it just wasn't the greatest of experiences.
Fun fact about that show, he went into the crowd, someone stole his watch, and I think he beat them up.
Is that the
Or
show
threw
he
a punch.
beat?
I don't think
that
he
for a
beat
punch?
them. I think someone in the...
Someone threw a
Is that
punch.
the London show he lost his watching?
Yeah.
Is it London?
Oh, yeah.
I saw that back in...
It was
back when,
his first London show, just before he was about to
And he
release his
caused a
first
little scene
album.
about it.
And he caused a little scene about it. That was a great show. It was good for me. I liked it.
Yeah, you and Rich had like time of
But I'm a
your
Rocky fan.
I could see Peter not liking it, for what it's worth. I could definitely see Peter not liking it. You know how Peter's bougie.
You know what I'm saying?
Just looks down on people.
Just looks down on everybody.
Can't enjoy life
All
around Peter.
systematic.
All systematic.
Just saying.
So wait, I can't bring topics to my comrades
Did we do the topic?
and help us discuss.
Did we do the topic?
and investigate
Investigate.
whether these labels are tearing down our communities or contributing to the destruction of our communities.
I'm sorry, Black Poirot. Like,
Hey, man.
what going here? No, listen,
What is
I appreciate you, but you gonna hold these jokes.
Go on.
Feel you?
Yemi, what's your 2?
I got 2. So I agree with you on Notes. I was reviewing the live show for The Guardian, and yeah, it wasn't good. The crowd was young. They didn't know any of the words. Notes himself, you could barely hear him. And even the songs, I think it was like Sit Back Down, Addison Lee, just some of the bait ones that just weren't good live. And then there was a 15-20 minute intermission in between where Tiny Temple literally just gave him a plaque and a watch and told him how good he was. I mean, Tiny Temple was lying to a young man's face that night. But, you know, we move. It
Is he still signed to Tiny?
I don't know. I'd have to check. He released something last year. I think it was on Sony. I think it might have been Sony. Yeah, it was Sony.
His manager's good people. It was the one that came to that.
Yes. Shout out to him. But yeah, Notes, bad. But it was 2018. And obviously he's grown as an artist now, so hopefully he'll be able to do a better show. I mean, I'm not listening to the music, but I imagine he's grown. So that's one. Number 2, I have to give it, and even though I'm a fan of his music, the live show weren't it. Playboy Carti. I saw him at, I think it was Kentish Town Forum in 2018 as well. And this was around the time of Magnolia. That was like his biggest hit. With Magnolia, he didn't rap. He was climbing like a level of the venue, trying to get to other fans who were like on an elevated seating area. He just let the beat run without rapping it. He came back, repeated the beat, didn't rap it, and the rest of it was just incoherent nonsense.
Yeah, but he looks like the type to do that.
Yeah, it's the kind of rock star thing. And Skepta came out as well, but even Skepta couldn't save it. So it was really bad. Like, he didn't come to perform, he just came to jump around a bit and be the kind of rock star, I don't give a fuck about anything sort of vibe, and it just didn't connect with me. And the crowd was young as well, so maybe that didn't help me. I was probably like the oldest person in there. But yeah, that was pretty bad. I like to think he's grown too, but you never really know. But yeah, that's it for me, man. Playboy, Carti, and Notes. Do better next time.
Yeah, shout out to Notes, man. I just want the record to show. I didn't pay to go see Notes.
You didn't pay? I didn't pay either.
Yeah, before people think there's 227.
I got paid to review him.
Paid to see Notes.
I got paid to review him. I mean, listen, you could be a 27-year-old and like Notes.
How old is he?
20. And you saw the
Now he's probably like...
Yemi, can I ask you a question? You saw the people that went to go see Notes.
I did.
If a 28-year-old man goes to pay to see
It
Notes...
was young white people.
Yemi, if a 28-year-old goes to pay to see Notes, you don't think it's problematic?
Not problematic.
Not problematic, let me take that back, but just a little bit.
Just
Pete, do you get what I mean or not?
I get you.
I mean, you could have said no.
No, I went for free. If you told me, Mohammed, I'm charging you 15, no. But why not? Let's go shake a leg, have a good time.
Where'd you go with?
Me and Yemi.
Okay.
Because I knew there was going to come some jokes. And look at that. A whole topic of based off that.
Who knew we would have this in the chamber 4 years later? We lit. But anyway, shout out to Notes. Shout out to Ross, Carti, JLEC, ASAP.
Was JLEC pull for you as well? Like, was you going to put him in your top 2 before Pete?
I completely forgot about JLEC, to be honest. And you know what's mad about JLEC? That time we saw him, the next time I went to a gig, which was probably like a week later, it was supposed to be Flying Lotus and MF Doom. MF Doom couldn't make it.
I remember you
JLEC did the exact same act as he did a week before at Coco. And I'm just like, brother, I don't need to see this. He did the exact same thing where he jumped into the crowd at Exhibit C and didn't rap anything.
Have you seen Doom live?
He did that on purpose as well.
Have you seen Doom live?
Doom live?
Yeah, before.
Nah, never did. That would have been the only time.
Damn.
And he didn't come, unfortunately.
What about Fly Low?
Fly Low? Oh, Fly Low was sick.
Have you seen him?
Yeah.
Oh, it was that night?
Yeah, it was that night.
It was
He was the headline. Brixton Academy. Oh, he was sick. He was sick.
I want to see JLEC live one day. But I'm not in a rush.
You don't, though.
No, I'm not in a rush. You guys put me off. Thank you very much.
You don't. Because he's not going to perform the songs as they are. He's going to do some madness. Trust me.
He's like that though, isn't it?
It's like Lauryn Hill.
She might not come on
Miss
time.
Lauryn Hill, sorry.
Lauryn Hill will come. Are you nuts? She'll come half an hour before the show finishes.
And then do some dead medley extended versions of the song.
And
All right.
And you don't know.
I'm just
she'll
saying,
do
but you know it's true, innit?
Let's relax.
You know it's true, innit?
She'll do off at 500 miles per hour,
respectful.
speed the whole song up.
But I don't like the way he tells us to relax when we're speaking truths.
Let's be respectful, guys.
But you know it's right.
Late. You know how
Do you agree with us, though?
Can I just say something? Yeah, we need to talk about how disrespectful is. She comes late, then she speeds up the songs. So you're late, and then you speed up the song.
The audacity.
The audacity.
The unmitigated gall.
Because she does the song faster, innit?
Yeah, I heard.
And then she
Way
comes an
faster.
And she comes an hour and a half late.
Bare octaves.
Oh, some people want to do your
Just sing the song as it was sang, brother. And pay the artist.
Let's be respectful.
Meanwhile, you want to be Usain Bolt.
You know what I'm
You know what
saying?
I'm saying? But coming an hour and a half later. Oh, look at Eagle.
Just mad.
Can we respect Miss Hill, please?
We respect Miss Hill. We don't respect her etiquette. That's all. And her timekeeping. But it's fine.
She don't even have the time.
She put in a Nas bar, so she knows. She knows what we're talking about.
Salute to Miss Hill.
Yeah, well, on that note, we're going to sign off for today. So, guys, another great episode, I'd say. Any shout outs you want to make before we head out?
Big up everyone, man.
Salute to everyone. God
Love
is
you
good
all.
all the time.
All the time, God is good. I want to send a special shout out to This Could End Terribly. Myself and Pete were on their podcast recently, which was a great time. So shout out to our brother Rich, shout out to Johnny as well. That's family right there. They're not just friends of the pod, they're family of the pod. So, you know, that will always be the same.
Salute to them.
Thank you guys. Shout out to you for listening. Very much appreciate it all the time. You know, follow us on socials at Rhymes Dimes Pod on all the socials. We're now on TikTok as well at Rhymes Dimes Pod. So give your boys a follow. As we said before, we're new to it. We might not be the hippest when it comes to that sort of thing, but we're working on it. And we've got some good stuff coming. Follow us on YouTube as well. Just type in Rhymes Like Dimes Podcast and you'll be able to find us. We've got more visuals on the way. You'll be able to see more of our beautiful faces. And yeah, all will be well. So thank you for listening once again. Until next time, take care, stay blessed, Stay safe and peace.